Listen. It's a Wednesday, and you see the Gauntlet background and everything and stuff, right? You see Dom right next to me and everything. And we got the rest of the crew coming in here in just a minute. But this is, and we got a new thing going on here for the NFL season, and that is, the J&J picks that happen on Sunday mornings. Well, now we're bringing it to Wednesday evenings, and we got the whole crew, so two more. I am Denzel Snipes. Detroit Dom right next to me. What's going on, brother?
Yo, we should have came up, work in progress, but we got to come up with a clever name for this show. I was kind of kicking around ideas in my head. Now all of a sudden I got nothing.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing also because you figure like this is a Gauntlet spinoff essentially,
Right.
offshoot show because it is the weekly picks and everything. And yes, we are going to have the crew in here in just a second, but we are now full force. We're going to be doing picks on Wednesday evenings as a preview to this weekend's games or that weekend's games, for future reference. Last week you saw myself and JJ on here. We made our picks. Of course, the weekend of football happened. It was great. While we're kind of sort of waiting, did you happen to watch Monday Night Football?
Like half of it. Some buddies, a buddy of me and my boy Monkey Joe was up from Atlanta. Our boy Needles, and he rented it. Dude, it's like a semi-famous at this point Airbnb downtown. It's in Eastern Market. It's at the corner of Pierce and St. Aubin, and it's just a little like the outside is all graffitied, and it's just a bungalow style house. But the yard, it's like, it's basically like a tailgate spot, and you got somewhere to crash for the night. So it was dope. I ran down there just like real quick because like Needles was in town for the weekend, and I kind of forgot. And Monkey was already down there, and I'm like, oh damn! I got to come down and see my boy Needles. And we ended up sitting there drinking, etc. Like I planned on being back like for kickoff, and I didn't get home till like beginning of the second half. And that little girl's from Cleveland, so he was watching the game, and I saw something on the ticker, and I was like, wait. I was like, what's going on with Nick Chubb? Like, I didn't get anything on my phone. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. And then I was like, oh, no. And, like, obviously, I guess it was so gruesome they wouldn't show a replay, eh?
They wouldn't. No, they would not. I watched it live because I saw him go down. And at first, I thought that him and Minka Fitzpatrick had knocked knees. You ever knock knees with somebody? And you know how that fit? Okay, that's what I thought happened. And then people were like, yo, don't go to Twitter. Don't go to Twitter and see the video. And what I do, I go to Twitter and see the video. And Nick Chubb took a Joe Theismann.
Yeah, somebody else said that too, reminded them of the Joe Theismann injury.
Or just
the one that I thought of, different injury, but Gordon Hayward, because that was on opening night several years ago, and I was watching that game live. And I saw it happen, like live game action, and I literally got up and left the room for 5 minutes because I didn't want to see it again. Because I saw it happen just like, in real time. And I literally, I cringed. And then I seriously got, sick to my stomach. And I was like, I don't want to see this replay. I got up and left the room.
Yeah.
I'm like in my front room, like peering my head around the corner through the kitchen into my family room. Like, are they done showing replays? Okay, I can go back to watching the game.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, they of course they didn't do it. They didn't show the replay on live TV or anything. So anyone who saw exactly what happened, they had to go and watch it through another camera angle. They had to upload it to YouTube or Twitter or something. But the rest of the crew is on their way in. But we'll go ahead and just get started on the first game. And that is Thursday night football. Giants at 49ers. 49ers are favored by 10. No Saquon. No problem. What you pick? What you got?
Even with Saquon, the Giants had absolutely no prayer to beat the Niners at the Niners. This has all the makings of like a 17 to 21 plus point blowout. Like, it was nice to see the Giants finally wake up in the second half of that Arizona Cardinals game. People are like, I can't believe the Cardinals blew that lead. I'm like, it's the Cardinals.
It's
I'm
the
like,
Cardinals.
Josh Dobbs has exactly as much experience about holding a 21-point lead in an NFL game as me and you, i.e. none.
And you know my memory, dude. I'm watching that comeback happen, and I'm slowly seeing the Giants uniforms turn into Bears uniforms. Look who's into his house, looking like Carlton Banks.
I'm about to change, but I wanted to make sure I get on with you guys.
No, don't change. Come on. No, keep it on, man.
No,
yeah, rock that.
I'm hot. I don't want to wear this.
Cut the air on.
I don't control the air. My landlord and them do.
Call him, tell him cut it on.
Are you trying to see this? Is that what you...
Man, we never get to see GQ Joey, bro. But that's all good. We'll let him change real quick, bring him back in when he comes back. But hold on. There he is. All right, and we actually just in time. We're doing the
my sleigh is on the way.
All right,
and your AJ Brown is on the way.
All right, Jay, you go ahead.
Made.
You go ahead and make this one, and after I'll come in at last to make my pick. And then
okay, then.
That'll be a perfect transition.
Hey, James, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Okay, all right then, cool. All right, we thought you were frozen for a second.
No.
But hey, continue on with your take, Dom.
That was it. Niners by at least 17 up to 21, maybe more. I mean, what is Daniel Jones and a bunch of receivers that I can't name off the top of my head gonna tear the Niners defensive backs apart? Don't they got that dude from Tennessee, Jalen Hyatt, that was all the rave in the preseason and the inter squad scrimmages, and he's got like 2 catches so far?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, pretty much.
Here's a question. Which of the 2 playoff teams that faced one another in the wild card round are actually worse this year? The Giants or the Vikings?
I'm going to beat the brakes off the Vikings.
Yeah.
They did. I'm saying right now, as far as what those teams look like, both being, playoff participants last year, because I think they're both pretty bad. I think the Giants are better than the Vikings, but better implies
they're both bad.
Kill each other.
Yeah.
Neither one is good.
I'm going to say easily Niners, okay? And you could say that, this has trap game written all over it. Well, that would be true, except the next opponent for the Niners are the Cardinals. So, yeah, that's not exactly a trap game. I've got them running away with this. Daniel Jones is probably going to be forced to throw more than he should because Saquon is out. Yep. The Niners already got him scouted out. They know that he can run better and he can throw. All they got to do is throw a spy on him, play assignment football, and boom, shut him down. Once you shut down Daniel Jones' feet, it's a wrap. I've got the Niners in a blowout. I'm going to say...
Wait, throw a what on Daniel Jones?
A spy.
Oh, are you listening, Aaron Glenn? Spy? You ever heard of that?
I'd be surprised if the Giants get 10 points, but hey, I'll be cool and give them 10. I'm going to say Niners 28-10. JT, what you got, man?
Oh, well, the 49ers have looked like the best team in the NFL so far this season in 2 weeks. Their defense is good. Their defense is better. Their offense is better. Their quarterback's better. Their coaching is better. Every aspect they're better. So, and on top of that, Saquon is the best player for the Giants, and he's going to be out. So, whatever small, very small hope that they may have had is completely gone. So, the Giants have no chance of winning this game.
Oh, also the Giants are missing their starting left tackle and left guard.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're gassed elsewhere also. But hey JJ, you about ready, man? You setting up?
Oh, I'm ready. I can go ahead and talk. To answer
all right. Well, hey, give your pick and take on the Giants Niners game, and then you got the rest of the way, man.
Sounds good. I do want to address Dom's question. I think the Giants are worse than the Vikings. I don't think the Vikings are that bad. I see a horrible defense in the Giants. And I see a team that does not have any weapons outside of Darren Waller really worthwhile on the Giants. But on the Vikings, they have a decent team. They have a coordinator who will get it together, because anytime you have somebody like Brian Flores who's running your thing for you, your team's going to figure it out.
You're
They have
saying he's going to turn chicken stuff into chicken salad?
Not necessarily, no. They have pieces. Danielle Hunter's still on that team. Harrison Smith is still on that team, and they're making plays. They lost to, albeit, they lost to a 2-0 Tampa Bay squad now. And then now there's people even talking about maybe they underestimated them. So it's like, it's just too early in the season, but I don't like what I have seen from the Giants. I do see the Vikings being able to turn it around. As far as the pick, of course, I'm going with San Francisco. I mean, come on. San Francisco is by far probably the most consistent team in the game to date. They are the best team in the NFC right now that they're playing. I'm not saying they are going to be the one. They're the one most together. Their defense, albeit it's going to be a little bit different. They have a little struggles because D'Amico Ryans is no longer there. I just think that it's going to be a bad one. I will say, if you have a sports bet production, Darren Waller. He is literally the only remaining target that they really have that can do some type of damage that people kind of know about. I mean, there may be a breakout player that may come here and there that you never heard of, but if you're looking at a weapon that you want to think, I took him in my sports bets.
I was going to say, Waller's going to have one of those 15 target, 12 catch games.
Yeah.
And it'll be one of those things because it depends on how I have to look at San Francisco to see how they play their defense. Because he could have 15 targets, 12 receptions, 144 yards and a touchdown, or he could have 15 targets, 12 receptions, and 99 yards. You know what I mean? Like, it just depends.
Right.
Yeah. But it's gonna be him. So I got the 49ers winning by 14. I got them winning 28-14.
All right.
But all right now, so thank you first and foremost, Jay and Dom. Coming from work a little bit behind, but me and James are here. As we are on it's not the J&J show, it's the JJJD show. Triple JD show. That's awesome. That's a nickname for somebody. Watch. NBA Live, #. There you go.
Trademark.
So, after the Giants and 49ers, no Saquon, no problem. Okay, this is going to be fun. I'm curious to see what the next one's going to say. We have the Texans at the Jaguars. Oh, this is neat, Jay. I like that. All right. See what I mean? Denzel Snipes producing and putting it together. Texans at Jaguars. We have C.J. Stroud versus Trevor Lawrence. Ohio State versus Clemson. We all know they play in the college football playoff. Not those two, but those teams play in the college football playoff. So
they did.
Texans are down. They're underdogs, 9.5 to the Jacksonville Jaguars at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's coming off of a heartbreaking loss that they very well could have won against the Kansas City Chiefs. And then the Texans, something may be going. CJ looked really good. He's having some good moments, but they got blew out by a Colts team.
CJ Stroud has more 300-yard passing games than Justin Fields in his career.
I mean, there you go. I mean, I think we know where you're going with this one. Yeah. So I'll turn it over to my right, left, whatever one you want to call it, James.
Yeah, right the first time.
I mean,
I did. Right.
Honestly, it's a division game, so I don't think that the Jaguars are going to cover the 9.5 spread. I think it'll be a closer game than that, maybe within like a touchdown. But the Jaguars are a better team. The Jaguars are at home, and the Jaguars are a team that's going to make noise this year in the playoffs. They are one of the best teams in the AFC, and they have one of the best quarterbacks and coach duos. So I think that coming off this loss, they're going to get it together. I think that there's a great dynamic going on between Trevor and Calvin Ridley. And I just think that's going to cause a lot of problems for the Houston defense. I don't think that they will be able to contain it. And if they have to get into like a scoring fest, I don't think it's going to work out too well for them because Houston does not really have the personnel to do that. So I think the Jags are going to win by a touchdown. 24-17.
24-17, he says. So, if you know anything about Dom, you know there's a certain quarterback that comes from a certain college that he absolutely just thinks is destined to fail. No matter what circumstances is, it doesn't matter. It might be the fact that his actual college team may get their butt whooped by this particular college's program, but we're not going to go there. But I'm going to ask Dom, is the Ohio State quarterback going to win.
Let me remind you that Michigan State has beat Ohio State in a Big Ten title game multiple times in the last 10 years. That was how they made it to the playoffs. I don't have issues with Ohio
Where
State
they got smoked.
other than the fact that none of them are good. If you recall, I was high-key rooting for Justin Fields to be good when I was afraid we were going to draft C.J. Stroud. Thank God that didn't happen. Yeah, the Stroud is a nice story so far. Like I said, in my mind, he's already a better passer than Justin Fields. I'm a little disappointed thus far, considering their passing game is so potent. I mean, I'll wait till we get to Jay to address it, but can we put Dameon Pierce on a milk carton yet? What's going on? Like, that dude, arguably, I mean, there was several legitimate candidates for Rookie of the Year, Pierce being one of them, and he has not looked good so far. Stroud has, but like James said, the Jaguars are a force to be reckoned with. They're the only even remotely good team in that division, and we will certainly see them in the playoffs again. I think they win a playoff game again. They might even, depending on the seed, I don't think we'll see the Chargers there. I don't know, because the Chargers have been charging early season, which means they're going to pick it up. They'll have a late run at the end of the year, probably squeak into the playoffs, possibly to lose to the Jags again. Will they have a 24-point lead at halftime? Who knows? If they do, they'll blow it because, again, Chargers. But, yeah, I've got the Jags, 9.5. Playing more by like 13, 14 points. A pretty comfortable victory. Like James said, Calvin Ridley, upon suspension, definitely coated his entire body in Rust-Oleum because that dude came out like gangbusters. Hasn't seen a snap. Didn't see an NFL snap in over a year. Way more than a calendar year, a full NFL season, and that dude is all the way back. That offense is potent.
Week 1, he looked really good.
I watched most of that Jags KC game. It was sloppy. It was not a fun game to watch. It was a matchup I had circled, like a measuring stick game, like I had with us against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs just barely squeaked by. Like the Chiefs are what? A 4-point victory away from being 0-2. I thought they were going to lose that game. So I'm like, come on, Jags. But
I don't think the Chiefs look too good either.
But they rarely do early in the season.
I do want to apologize because I feel like this should have been stated before. Jay is the Texans fan, and I did not lead off with him. And I am so sorry about that,
He's
boss.
in cleanup.
You can let him have the final word.
He's not Ricky Henderson. He's Jose Canseco.
No.
Are y'all gonna let me finish? Okay. I was going to go, and then I was going to give him the last word, Jay, Tatum, but you got there. You already got me to the finish line. I was revving it up. You know me, long-winded. # There you go. But all right, I'm gonna go. I do think the Jaguars are a very good team. I do think the Texans are on this. They're just building blocks right there. They have pieces that they started with. They got Will Anderson. They got C.J. Stroud. Dameon Pierce, I think he's going to be fine. I don't have anything against him or what he's been doing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the second week in the season. Sometimes running backs, after a while, now that people know who you are, now that people know on the Texans, you're an important part of the offense, you just got to adjust a little bit. I don't think it's going to be this game. I got the Jaguars covering that spread. Ooh, I don't know. I will give the Texans the benefit of the doubt to at least make this close because it's a division game, and anything can happen in division games. Great teams that look like they should dominate teams will make some stupid mistakes that allows the team to get back in the game. Props-wise, I will sit there and say I like Evan Ingram. He's a big target, and I know that he and Trevor have a really good relationship with one another. ETN should be able to bounce back. He didn't get them as many carries as he is accustomed to to reach his rushing yard mark. But, Texans defense is decent, but Jaguars are better. Jay Nelson, Denzel Snipes, Hurricane Nino Brown Carter. Tell me
My
What do
brother's
you
keeper.
think? Do you think your team can win?
I think we can, just because we either there's a point in time where we'll beat the Jags so many times straight, or we're good for like stealing one. I think there's only been maybe 2 occasions that they swept us in a season. It's going to be a tough game. Divisional game. The Jaguars, we split with them last year, if I'm not mistaken. The Jaguars, they should come out hungry, knowing they should have won the last game, because as bad as Kansas City looked, and there was 4 opportunities where Zay Jones or someone caught the ball in the back of the end zone and only had 1 foot in or got pushed out of bounds altogether.
Zay Jones had donuts.
Yeah,
Forgot about him.
yeah.
6 targets, donuts.
Nothing, yeah, and he should have had maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns. But and then of course you got the running of Travis Etienne. Their defense is solid. The thing with the Texans is with Bernard Pierce, I think everyone is focusing in on him because they knew last season he was the engine that drove the train. I mean, it wasn't Davis Mills, it wasn't who was our other guy. I can't even remember his name, but they knew that he was the offense, and pretty much what I think teams are doing is they're forcing Stroud to beat them with his arm. Now, if you look at these 2 games, Stroud hasn't been the problem. He hasn't been the problem. He threw for almost 400 last game. It's on the defense to make the key stops, and it's also on the receivers because we don't have a true number 1. Tank Dell had 7. What's up?
Cam Akers traded to the Vikings.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, like I was saying, Tank Dell, actually, he's a rookie out of U of H. He actually had 7 for 70 yards and a touchdown. Maybe we see more of an emergence from him. I can't go against my team, y'all. I'm going to say Texans with a field goal. Texans 24-21.
You're the lone wolf, so you got to do it.
I do that. I will tie on this hill.
But you're the lone wolf. You have to. You got to do
Hey,
that.
guess who the number 2 rated wide receiver in the NFL is, according to PFF?
Who?
Nico Collins.
There you
Ain't
go.
no way. Ain't no way.
I have a question. So, if my wonderful compadre James, we are on the YouTube channel, right? Where are we being broadcasted? Just the YouTube channel, not Sideline. Where are we at?
I think we're only on my page and Jay's page, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I'm asking that. And if y'all know me, let me know. That's all I'm asking. There's a reason why I'm asking.
I know the reason why you asked.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay, then let's go. Here we go. So, with that being said, all right.
Next up is on you, JJ. You ready for this?
I am.
Ooh, y'all.
And listen.
JJ, you go first.
Yeah, lead this one off.
I wanted to let you guys get it. Like I know,
no.
I know, but
you are the resident Ravens fan. You lead off.
We got to pick up the speed. We're 20 minutes in. We're only on the 3rd game, and we know you're gonna have a lot to say about your Ravens. So go ahead.
Not exactly. When he said, I was actually timing how long it would take to be able to do certain games with the games that's left, and I think we can still make it with just a little bit of time. It's okay. Like I appreciate it. I'll do it this time, but I ain't got no problem letting y'all go through. Now, Baltimore against Indianapolis, against which we call the Baltimore Bowl. Basically, because everybody knows the Baltimore Colts left and went to Indianapolis, became the Indianapolis Colts. Here come the Baltimore Ravens, and they're facing each other. These teams used to face off a lot when Peyton Manning played, but it's been a while since we really kind of had that really good thing. But we're going to see Indianapolis looked very good against the Houston Texans squad. Anthony Richardson, I don't know how he's going to be because he was evaluated for a concussion. He has got to pass all the tests in order for him to be able to play. But Michael Pittman Jr. turned around, had a decent game. Everybody looks good on that defense. They're looking back. Baltimore, what did I always say? I'm not going to toot my own horn, but whenever both teams are healthy, I think Baltimore is showing people that that game against Cincinnati was no fluke. And now Baltimore is now ahead in the division, number 1 in division, one of the top teams in AFC, finished at 2-0 against 2 AFC teams. Do I think that they can win this game? Absolutely. Do I think they're going to win the game? Absolutely. Do I think that it's going to be a tough game in the beginning? But I think it's going to turn around because the Baltimore offense seems to be starting to pick it up. And I mean, at the end of the day, he's a new guy, but they have a nice little young wide receiver who seems to be really making some good plays. Now, if I'm going to sit there and I'm going to pick the props and I'm going to turn it over to you guys, I'm going to pick the props. I will pick Zay Flowers receiving yards. We were just talking about him. I would pick Patrick Queen's tackles. I would definitely pick Lamar Jackson's passing yards.
Gus
And
Edwards.
I'm
Picked him
I'm
up
a
in my
little
big money
concerned
league.
about I'm a little concerned about that one just because the Colts front seven is tough. The Colts front seven is hard, and he is a formidable running back. I just think with the way the team goes, with running two backs with Justin Hill, and they really are trying to improve the passing game and have the passing attack going. The running game gets it started, but it was kind of like get it started, sort of like how Philadelphia used DeAndre Swift against the Eagle, get this pass game against the Vikings. Get it going to get the drive going, and then hit it with a couple darts here and there. I see the Baltimore doing the same thing. But ask me, Ravens over Colts. Jay. Oh, there's two J's. I guess I don't know. Let me think. Green Jay.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens as well. I just think Lamar is looking a lot more comfortable to start the season, completing over 74% of his passes. And the Ravens have looked like the best team in the AFC North. If you watch the Pittsburgh and Cleveland game, I know it was a division game, but I don't really expect too much of those teams. In Cincinnati, Joe Burrow tweaks his knee. So I think the Ravens are they're playing at home. They're playing in front of the home crowd. Off to a good start of the season. Lamar looking comfortable. I just think the Ravens going to handle business, and they're going to win this game.
I appreciate that. Nice insight. You know what I mean? Like, it's a big game. The Ravens have looked decent. You know, we know Cincinnati's coming, but we also let them know that we're ready for them. Bring it on. Detroit Dom.
What's the status?
Hold on. Are you going with the quarterback that you definitely did not think deserved his money, or was that good?
He's looked good so far this year. I'll give him his flowers. What's the status on Anthony Richardson? Is he I haven't looked at the practice report or anything, but I know he didn't. Gardner Minshew.
He has to pass I think you won't be able to figure this out until Saturday or so, because doesn't he have to pass certain tests up until that point?
Right.
I think
if by some miracle someone happened to look at the Colts practice report and tell me if he practiced, Monday, yesterday, or today. Either way, even if he plays, they're not winning this game. I mean, these are two franchises headed in two different directions as far as I'm concerned. Who knows when Jonathan Taylor plays again? Even if he was playing, even if Anthony Richardson was 100% healthy, they would have no chance. You're talking about one of the premier teams from the entirety of the AFC right now, far and away, like James said, looking like the best team in the AFC North. And yeah, I don't even see the Colts keeping it as close as 8 points. I've got the Ravens 28-10.
All right. So, Jay, are you going to be a lone wolf again, or you got another idea? Talk to me, buddy. What you got?
Interesting historical fact, and that is every time that, and JJ, you probably know this, every time that the Colts visit the Ravens, that stadium refuses to put the name Colts on the scoreboard. They put Indy or Indy team. Anyhow, let's see, 24 of 33, 237, 7.2 yards per attempt, 2 touchdown passes, not sacked once, no picks, QBR of 81.8, passer rating 112.8. This is Lamar Jackson, y'all. And I think what he is doing, and to JJ's point, is they want to more establish the passing game. And hey, I mean, what a better way to do it. Gus Edwards, he had 10 for 62 and a touchdown last game. I do agree in they may need to beat the Colts through the air. Even if Anthony Richardson plays, I don't see them coming out on top on this one. And seeing as questions are going on with the Bengals right now. Of course, it's anybody's guess how the Browns are going to end up. And then the Steelers, being the Steelers, right now, the Ravens are looking like being back to being the class of the division. I'm going to take Ravens. They won't cover. I'm going to say a 10-point victory. I'm going to say 24-14 Baltimore.
Then they will cover.
So in an attempt to answer my own question, and this is Colts.com, looking for the injury report. And what do they give me? They give me the practice statuses of all the Ravens. None of the Colts, mind you. Like, you get the Ravens, you scroll down, that's it. So they have nothing to say about their players, if they practiced, if they didn't, what the injuries are, questionable, probable, doubtful, none of that.
They don't want us to know, but it's all good.
Mum's
Either
the
way,
word from the Colts on their own website.
We will say this. It's not as if we're playing a quarterback that we don't know how to game plan against. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, this is a quarterback that we're used to. We may not know his arm, but we know what he can do in his play style. Funny thing, nice tidbit you mentioned about that, because there are some Raven fans that hate Indianapolis more than they hate Pittsburgh. They actually, like, I don't agree with it, but it runs deep. But all right, guys, we're all on the Ravens now. So we're going to just move on over. We're going to transition to the Deshaun Watson-led Browns versus the Ryan Tannehill-led Titans. As we know, we're going to start with the Titans, and then we're going to go segue over this. The Titans, I believe they got a win last week, or lost 1-2. I can't remember. I'll be honest with you, because I really didn't pay attention to them.
What he said.
They either won or lost.
Lost.
They won. They beat the Chargers.
Oh, they did.
Oh.
Well, you know what? So Tennessee comes off, and I feel bad, guys. Sorry for me not really remember that. I forgot they did play the Chargers. They beat the Chargers. They're a team that's 2-0 that probably people didn't think. No, they're 1-1. Probably because people didn't think they were going to be 1-1. But they're coming across against the Cleveland team who, honestly, I feel like this is going to turn out. The entire city lost its heartbeat. The entire city lost its heartbeat. This organization lost its heartbeat. And it's not the fact that he's out for the season. It's the image that you've seen of how he went down. And it's literally like they were on the chance. It's like, now, this isn't Deshaun Watson back in Houston when he first started, where there might have been a chance to feel like, okay, we lost our running back, but our quarterback is still in prime shape. He hasn't quite gotten up to that level. And we may not know if he ever will. But losing Nick Chubb, can the Cleveland Browns bounce back after such a devastating, and to this day, your leg is not supposed to go that way? Can they come back and beat this Tennessee Titans queen, Jay Nelson?
And see, that's the thing. And mind you, Ford got it in place of Nick Chubb. Shout out to him. But pretty much from here on out, and whether people think. Now, I'm going to tell you what needs to happen. It remains to see if it will happen. Deshaun Watson is going to have to go back to being Houston Watson, because he doesn't have Chubb. He doesn't have any. They just signed Kareem Hunt today. You know? Yeah, they just signed Kareem Hunt and everything. Now, they still got a very formidable defense. You still got a monster in Myles Garrett. You still got Grant Delpit, who had several turnovers just this past game. You know, you still got Amari Cooper. You got a more than decent receiving core. And you've got, what is it again? $530 million guaranteed. See, when you get paid that much money, the expectations are exponentially greater. And with that being said, I mean, let's face it, the Titans, they barely lost to the Saints in week 1. They barely beat the Chargers in week 2. I'm going to go, some people may say against the grain, but I'm going to have the Browns in this one. I'll take the Browns. And I will take them by a touchdown. We'll say that defense keys in and stops Henry and forces Tannehill to beat him with his arm. I'm going to say Browns. I'll say Browns 27-20.
You know, interesting that you said that, and I'll take it over to Dom afterwards, because what's the point of paying a guy this much money if you are still so dependent on one player going down? Essentially, this is the reason why you give him that fully guaranteed contract, because you believe he can overcome adversity. You believe he can become a Hokage. Now we're going to see if he can become a Hokage and lead this team to help them be able to, because this team had a lot of hype. And we're going to see if he can lead them into the promised land. So, Dom, do you think they can do it? Yes, James Tatum. Shout out.
I think they can. The Titans are not good. Derrick Henry is washed. Ryan Tannehill is Ryan Tannehill. And honestly, like, I think it's probably a lost season for the Browns. But like JJ said, this is why you paid Deshaun Watson all that money. And like Jay said, he's going to have to be Texans Deshaun Watson. And now I wouldn't even say now is his chance or now is his opportunity. Now is the time when you have to do it. And I think this might be the sauce for him. I think it's probably a lost season for the Browns. I don't think they make the playoffs, but this is where Deshaun Watson can get back to the Deshaun Watson that we remembered, to the Deshaun Watson that the Browns gave $500 million to. Like, it's now or never for him. And now he's thrust into that spotlight, and now it's time to go.
You know, it's actually arguable that he has a more talented team around him now than he ever did in Houston.
Oh, without a doubt.
Far.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
The O-line's better. The defense is better.
Miles Garrett
The
alone is
receiving
better than
without Nick Chubb is probably just
He
as
doesn't have
good.
DeAndre.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have DeAndre, but he has Amari Cooper, Peoples-Jones. He has David Njoku. He has overall
he's got
better
weapons
cast.
and a great defense.
Maybe
and a great
Hopkins
O-line. I bet the Browns 17-10.
Okay, so James Tatum.
I mean,
James.
I just sort of have a problem with what you guys are saying about Deshaun Watson, because Deshaun Watson is not like this is not new for Deshaun Watson. Last year, Deshaun Watson did not look good. And Deshaun Watson this season still does not look good. He's completing 55% of his passes, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So before we say anything about can he become the Deshaun Watson of the old Deshaun Watson, we have no reason to believe that he can do that until he actually shows it. And he has not shown it so far. And Nick Chubb going down, you lose your best player on offense. I don't think the Browns are going to win this game. I'm taking the Titans. The Titans feeling good about themselves coming off of a win against the Chargers, and they're going to continue that momentum, and they're going to go into Cleveland and get a win. And then, depending on what happens from here, it may be time to start the panic button for the Browns.
That's, for you to say that, and we're going to segue to the next game, that is a tough monetary pill if that team is going to possibly consider if this is a wasted thing. That is a $230 million basically bad investment from what you're saying, which is that's tough to swallow. But it's like, if they swallow it, it wouldn't be this year because it's just too much money invested. They may start putting plans in place, but it wouldn't be this year. And, I think he's going to have a little bit more rope. And maybe that's also why he's kind of been dragging along, because he knows he got $230 million. We'll let to Jay.
Well, I'll tell you something else that's hard to swallow. And I think you look at what Baker has done to the start that he's off. And
I saw that.
The Buccaneers are going to play the Eagles. We'll talk about that later. But he's off to such a good start. And Tampa's looking like a good team. And Deshaun not looking good. So if you're a Browns fan, I think that's tough to swallow.
True. Well, that's interesting. I remember you saying that earlier. So we all agree. Well, outside of Lone Wolf James. Got to do it for me. James.
Oh!
All right. The Lone Wolf over here. And with that said, we transition to our next game. Oh, interesting game it is. At one point in time, this used to be a really good game, a really big game, too. Back in the day, when you had Dan Marino and Peyton.
In the 1980s. Yes, this was a great game 35 years ago.
Anyway, sir, we have the Denver Broncos versus the Miami Dolphins. That's Tyreek Tawood connection takes on Broncos country, who there's a lot of questions about Broncos country right now. And a lot of people are starting to get a little agitated, but I think that might be of their own doing. Broncos were really kind of like pushed, like teased onto us, new coach back in the game, Sean Payton, revered guy offensively. Here you got Russell Wilson down year. They thought, here we go. He's going to come in. They're going to make Russell automatically get back to his days in Seattle, or in some cases better, because people think Sean Payton is better than Pete Carroll as a coach. They're not looking too good. They are 1-1, and it's not necessarily the fact that they're 1-1 like most people in the team. It's that they did lose to a team that you wasn't probably expecting them to lose to. I think either though Jay Nelson is the one that he had the Commanders last week, I believe. But we got the Broncos. We got the Miami Dolphins, who you could argue are the hottest team in the NFL. You could argue they're the hottest team in the AFC. That Tyreek Tua connection is deadly. Their team just looks like they're finally doing well. Tua's taking less hits. He's trying to not get hurt. They started realizing, believing they have a run game, and Mostert had a great game and actually solidified the game against the Patriots this past Sunday night. But anything can happen when you play against a defense like the Denver Broncos. So James Tatum. No, let's go to Detroit Dom, because we ain't got a chance to wrap him up. What you got, my man?
The Broncos, unfortunately for the Broncos and the Broncos only, the Broncos used 95% of their draft capital for the next 30 years on Russell Wilson. Miserable failure. Then they used the remaining 5% on Sean Payton, and it still looks like a miserable failure. Like, they just double down like, oh, Sean Payton will fix him. No, he won't. Russell Wilson was never a great quarterback. You know how many MVP votes Russell Wilson has? The same as the four of us on this panel.
0.
Bagel. Russell Wilson was a game manager who rode the coattails of the Legion of Boom and Marshawn Lynch. Then when that team broke up, his stats went up and his win percentage went down. And then Denver's, for as bad as John Elway's draft picks at quarterbacks were, and then they finally gave him the boot, they were like, hey, either resign or get fired. And they wouldn't let him be the GM anymore. And then whoever the new GM is, he's an idiot. He goes and trades 700,000 draft picks for Russell Wilson. And it's just not working. And Sean Payton's not going to fix that. And it's too early in the year. Tua will remain upright at least for one more week. Raheem Mostert, not so sure. Because as soon as you mentioned his name, he grabbed his quad, and he's questionable for Sunday. Raheem Mostert looks like the best running back in the NFL for one game at a time. Shout out to you, DeAndre Swift. Yeah, I've got the Dolphins. I don't even think it's this close. And maybe a blowout. Well, high-scoring game, but not close. Like 38-27, something like that. Dolphins going to prevent you from winning defense in the second half. Broncos make it look closer than it actually was. But yeah, Broncos, no chance.
Okay. Quick question. How long are we on? Little.
I guess until we finish up. So let's just keep it going.
Yeah, let's keep that. I just want to make sure everybody, y'all know me. I like an improv. I'm remixing. This is definitely like a edited version, whatever you call first cut. But you with us because you're part of the family. You're part of our team. We thank you guys. We wouldn't be here without you guys, and we can't tell you how much we're thankful for you guys tuning in every week. All of our shows, just checking in with us. But thank you for that. With that being said, let's move on to the next game. We have.
I didn't make my pick.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God!
Dom was the only one that picked.
Okay, y'all go ahead.
I'll just go ahead. I think the Broncos. This is a must-win game for them. I cannot start the season 0-3. If it happens, bad things are going to happen. Russell Wilson, for what it's worth, has not played that bad this season. I know we like to put all the blame on Russ, but Russ has not played that bad. You know, last week against the Commanders, throws the Hail Mary pass, potentially to force overtime, and then they kind of got robbed on the 2-point conversion. This pass interference didn't get called. So I think this is a must-win game for them. For the Broncos, what they need to do is they got to get Javonte Williams involved in this game. They're not giving him enough touches. But he's a very explosive running back. And if you look at week 1 between the Dolphins and the Chargers in a losing effort, the Chargers ran all over the Miami Dolphins defense. Austin Eckler ran over them. Joshua Kelly ran over them. They ran for over 240 yards as a team. So set up the run, give the ball to Javonte Williams. Good things happen when you give him the ball, and it's going to open up other areas of your offense. So I think they need to come out with a balanced game plan. If they do, they'll be able to win. But if they lose, they're going to be in big trouble.
Interesting. So you have the Dolphins winning this one.
The Broncos.
Oh, you have the Broncos winning this one. So, Jay, it's 1-1 right now. What you got?
Well, Russell Wilson, he actually has not played bad this season. I'm not going to sit here and say that the Broncos are 0-2 because of him. So far, Sean Payton looks to be doing a little bit of justice by Russell Wilson. It remains to be seen what happens for the rest of the year. But the Dolphins, they're just too good. They're just too good. I understand it's a must win for the Broncos and everything, but it ain't going to happen this week. Broncos defense, very, very formidable, solid defense, but Tyreek Hill, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, that team is built for speed. This is a track team disguised as football players.
No
You know what I
BS
mean?
though.
So,
No
yeah.
BS though.
Well,
I mean,
Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were both held in check against the Patriots. They didn't really go off the way that they did in week 1.
No, they didn't. But that was that week.
That's Bill Belichick.
And I got them doing a little bit better this week. But I'm going to go ahead and I'll take the Dolphins. I'll go ahead and take them by 10. I'll say it's a 30-20 game.
Okay. So we have 2 for the Dolphins, 1 for the Broncos. Oh, am I going to jab with the Dolphins and be 3-1, or I'm going to do the Broncos? Interesting enough, I think I'm going to make this a tie. I think Miami's a dangerous squad, but I actually think this defense is going to show up. It's going to be interesting to see how Justin Simmons and Patrick Surtain II, who, in my opinion, is the best corner in the game, how they handle that speed of that track team at, the skill positions for Miami. But I think Sean Payton is going to come up with one of his famous 4th down punt, sneaks, or one of these onside kicks or something, because I think he understands the magnitude of this game, because he sees the media, he sees the whispers, he knows that his team has not looked too great, and they're still trying to feel like, they were coming in, he was getting all the time. So I think he's going to take this very seriously. He can make a big statement that even though you may not say that you're the best in the game, you can let the other teams know, we're not the team from last year. We're going to win some games. And I think they're going to do it. So I think Miami might, we're going to see how it is with these boys, because I think young athletes who are very confident in themselves, no matter how much they don't want to admit it, they do buy into the Kool-Aid. So I think that's going to come into the play here. And then I think that the Broncos are going to get it. I got the Broncos winning this game 21-20.
Okay. Next game.
Next game coming up. The Patriots and the Jets. There you go. We got Zach Wilson versus Mac Jones, a game that we saw last year. And, the game we wasn't thinking we were going to see this year. The Jets, they tried their best. They hung in for a little bit, but they ultimately fell to the Cowboys. And the Patriots ultimately fell to the Miami Dolphins. They had both teams had chances at the end. They just could not get it done. And now they face each other. Both of these teams need this win. But James Tatum, who do you got?
The New England Patriots have won 14 straight games against the New York Jets. They have not lost to the Jets since 2015. And I think that's going to change. I think the Jets are going to win this football game. When I look at the Patriots, I just don't see anything that they have on offense that can scare you. Even though with Aaron Rodgers being out, the Jets are obviously compromised to some degree. They still have Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson still made big plays against the Dallas Cowboys defense, had that long touchdown. Does anyone in New England really put that fear into you? You have Stevenson. I guess he's a good running back. You have Zeke. You have guys like Bourne. There's no real threat that they have at skill positions, which is kind of like it. The Patriots have been like this for years. With Tom Brady, they were. They had Randy Moss and their Wes Welkers and Julian Edelmans, but Tom Brady was making guys like Chris Hogan. He was making guys household names. The Patriots have not really developed their skill positions for a long time. So I think that's why they're kind of in the position that they're in now. And I just think that the Jets are going to be able to make more plays than the Patriots. So that's why I think they're going to win this one.
Nice. Not bad. Not bad. You think the streak comes to an end? That's actually, interesting. Dom.
I gotta say, James baited and switched me when he started off with the Patriots have beat them 14 times in a row. But yeah, I'm with James. That streak comes to an end. I can basically let me go Will Vogel and just agree with everything that James said because it's all true. I can't think of a single player.
Don't do that to our boy. Don't do that to our boy.
Player. The only advantage
Stop
that the
playing.
Patriots have against the Jets is Bill Belichick because I can't think of a single player, position group, anything that the Patriots are a fourth place team firmly this year, and I'm loving that. Yeah, I've got the Jets. That streak comes to an end. Garrett Wilson did just fine last year before Aaron Rodgers, and he'll do fine without him. Also like to point out once more that Aaron Rodgers' last completed pass was to one Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph is a safety for the Detroit Lions. I'm going to keep saying it all year, every week.
You talk about you need Garrett Wilson. He going to do all right. He better. I got $100 on that boy. He better get them yards. Anyway, that does neither here nor there. Jay Nelson. Ken. Zach Wilson. Zach. You're famous, whatever nicknames you got for him, Wilson.
Milson.
Milson. Can Mr. Milson beat Mr. Mac Breezy?
Well, in answering that real quick, JJ, let me ask you a question. Would you say that Josh Allen was a top 5 quarterback in the AFC, if not the NFL? Just a yes or no answer.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what the Jets did to him 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
4 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
3 picks to the same man. This is why I got the Jets winning this game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to keep it
Tell
right
that
there.
to Cowboys fans. They think they won
like
the Super Bowl because they beat an elite defense. But keep going.
I like how you do.
Jets win.
I like how you do this, and I will tell you this much. I'm with you, but I love that defense. Quinnen Williams, I love watching those guys play. Those guys are forces. And I think one thing that I need the Jets to realize something. You have an explosive running back. I need you to let that guy get this ball. Like, I don't think you realize what he can do for a team that lost their quarterback for your team. Because even last year before he got hurt, they were winning games with him. He was the clear cut, in my opinion, offensive rookie of the year last year before he went down. Mm-hmm. You only get 4 carries against the Cowboys, who, when you look as good as that defense is, there's always been a possible weakness by running the football on them. You could have gave it to this guy. This guy is quick enough and shit enough, and you have him, and you're going against a Patriots squad that is going to try to game plan for him, but use him in all these different ways, and I think they're going to come out on top because I like Robert Saleh. I love that defense, and I think the Patriots, I don't know if Mac Jones, this defense is going to give him a hard time this week. And so, as you know, it seems like we got all on the Jets, which means the Patriots are going to win. Anyway, but that's not the here.
Brees Hall is my birthday brother. I didn't know that till yesterday.
Well, shout out that. All the more reason why you got to run him. He's brothers with.
And he went to high school in Wichita. And his dad's from Detroit.
And there you go. Look at all that. Big reasons why we all need to go from, but most importantly is that he shares a birthday with our beloved brother, Mr. Dom DeRubeis over here. All right. Patriots at Jets. Next up, will we go to, what is it? The Bills at the Commanders. All right. The Buffalo Bills look like they got back on track. Buffalo Bills took it to the Las Vegas Raiders. James Cook had a monster game. Josh Allen was much cleaner. He looked like he was much more comfortable. They got back on track. And then you have the Commanders who come in 2-0. Now, are they a fraud or are they a contender? We don't know. But what we do know is where we are now is that they're 2-0. They beat a Denver squad who you could argue possibly should have had the chance to tie and get against overtime, but they didn't. So, Dom, What do you think is going to happen with this game? Is Josh Allen going to possibly think that this is a game where he can win easily and mess up, or are they going to handle business and beat Washington?
I think they beat them. I like the foreskins. I love that they're 2-0. I love that Sam Howell is getting a chance to prove himself, and he's doing well so far. But, I mean, this is the Bills and the Commanders. Like, let's be honest. I don't see the Bills necessarily covering the spread. I think it'll be a close game. And when the Commanders lose, I don't think it'll be Sam Howell's fault. But Josh Allen's getting back on track. I still worry about him because James Cook is a tiny little man. He had a great game last week, but it was on, 16 carries, not 25. Like, for God's sake, please, Buffalo, if you're listening, for Josh Allen's sake, please go get a real running back. Please. Like, the clock is ticking on Josh Allen. Tick, 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 tick. The window is shutting on the Buffalo Bills and being nailed shut and painted over. Like, this is it for the Bills. If they don't do something this year, that's it. They will not lose this week. However.
There you go. Well, yeah. But, today's game, the average running back carries is like 15, but I get what you're saying on that one. So, Jay, are you riding with Dom and thinking the Bills are going to win this game? You were on the Commanders against the Broncos. Are you riding with them again?
I'm going to go ahead and take the Bills. Just like you said, they got back on track. And the Commanders are a surprise team right now. I don't think anybody really expected them to be 2-0 at this point. But keep in mind, they beat the Cardinals and the Broncos. So I think this is their first real test of the season. I got them keeping it close because the Bills have a tendency to overlook opponents, Jets. But with that being said, now I got the Bills in a close one. I'm going to say 23-17. Bills, Sam Howell game-winning drive falls just short.
Wow. So Sam, he's going to try to get it done, but it's not going to happen. James Tatum, what you got for me, boss?
I think this game is going to come down to the turnover battle and which quarterback can take care of the football. And to be honest with you, I don't think that I trust Josh Allen to take care of the football. You saw him turn the ball over left and right. He threw 3 interceptions to the same guy against the New York Jets, fumbled the ball. Josh Allen, as great as he's been over his career, his decision-making has been very questionable. So that gives me concerns when you're talking about a Washington defense that has some young, exciting talent. And no pun intended, Chase Young to make his return to the field as well. So will he add something to the Commanders? So the Commanders being at home and everything, getting off to a good start, I think the Commanders are going to win this game. And just like that, just like everyone predicted, Commanders start the season 3-0.
Wow, wouldn't that be
just
a deal?
like everyone predicted?
But I think, you have some strong opinions about Josh Allen. Valid points as well from our esteemed Philly Jim over here. All right, do we have the Bills and the Commanders? So, as y'all know, I don't care about this Commander squad. I never have, never will. I used to be very much avid.
Like 7-0?
Right. Proud didn't care about him. But I will say this, Sam Howell's a smart quarterback. He seems like he makes the right read. He does try to stay within the offense. He doesn't try to do too much. He tries to limit mistakes. And I think when you have that, you give yourself a chance even against the better teams. You have a team that has an offensive line and a defensive line. And if you looked at what happened against the New York Jets with Zach Wilson, the defensive line is what pretty much helped them solidify that victory or get to overtime because of how they were able to get to the quarterback or make bottom up and make them pay. The Commanders have a great defensive line. So it's a possibility that this team could stay close. However, I went against Buffalo last week. I'm not going to go against them this week. I think Josh Allen and them are going to get back on track. I will say, sports bet props. I think Stephon Diggs is going to be one to go for his receptions, his yards. If there's a touchdown prop, because he's from the area, has deep ties to the area. Some closer to some people in this panel because family members know him. My mom does, but he played with my cousin. He wants to show up and show out for him when he comes back home. I think he's going to have a big game, and I think that it's going to be the Commanders losing by 10 points.
All right.
20-10. Look at that. But look at me give them some nice little compliments about their team and stuff. I can do that. I'm human. So here we go now to, are we going up to Detroit? Sorry, that's it. I'm going to let Detroit take this one, man, because it has to be you.
I was 100% sure about the result of this game as soon as I saw the schedule. Now, not so sure based upon last week. Like, I can't imagine there's any way on God's green earth that Desmond Ridder is the reason that we lose this game. Prior to last week, I would have said the reason we lose this game is the three-headed monster of Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, and Cordarrelle Patterson. However, Michigan State bias aside, that was one of the worst games I've ever seen Kenneth Walker play. We shut that man the F down. We couldn't get to the quarterback with their two backup tackles, but Geno Smith just gives us fits. Like, Geno Smith has the Detroit Lions number. The entirety of the Seattle Seahawks roster and fan base, they have our number. It's some sort of voodoo magic. That being said, I still think we lose because I have not seen anything like, as much as I love Kenneth Walker, as good as he is, I can't even say great. He's good, not great. Bijan Robinson so far looks great. Tyler Algier had over 1,000 yards rushing last year. We still haven't even seen Cordarrelle Patterson. And the Lions are so banged up all over the place. Taylor Decker's out. Big V is out. Gardner Johnson might not play the rest of the year. Amon-Ra was in and out of the game.
He's out for the year.
I've got the Falcons probably in a low-scoring game. The Lions are the best team in the NFL for 3 years running, covering the spread. I've got the Falcons 20-17 in a heartbreaker. However, we'll beat the Bears the week after and still be at the same 2-2 that I predicted. So it's fine. I don't mind losing when I said we would lose.
Okay. All right. James Tatum.
I think the Lions are such a difficult team to really gauge because week 1 and week 2, they look like two completely different teams. The defense did not show up at all against the Seattle Seahawks. So they played a pretty good game against Mahomes, played terrible against Geno Smith. So which of the Detroit Lions defense is going to show up? That's the real question. So we don't know what's going to happen in that regard.
Where's this vaunted pass rush?
I just think that Bijan Robinson is going to be able to cause a lot of problems. But, you're playing against Desmond Ridder. Like, at least Geno Smith is a decent quarterback. Yeah. Not great. Maybe not even good. But he's okay. He's all right. But Desmond
you better
Ridder,
put some respect on that man's name. That is Eugene Cyril Smith III, comeback player of the year.
Desmond Ridder, I mean, if you lose to him, then I really don't know if I can take the Lions seriously as a contender in the NFC. So the Lions, they got to handle business and win this game. I'm going with the Lions.
I think.
Also no David Montgomery.
I think, to be honest with you, and Jay, you can go ahead and start after this set. I don't think don't think the realistic possibility is to think the Lions would be a contender in the first place. I think they're a decent team, but I don't necessarily see them as a contender. But that's no shade. That's just what I was thinking right now. Jay Nelson, what you got?
Well,
you can call this man by his government name. That is Denzel Snipes.
Well, I mean, looky here, another surprise 2-0 team in Atlanta. You know, of course, the story is Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. For a young quarterback, young quarterback's two best friends is a stout defense and a stout running game. So on the surface, it would appear that he doesn't need to do too much to win the game. Just go out there and don't lose it, right? Now if Detroit can rise up like I think they will and shut down the run and basically force Ritter to beat them with his arm, maybe force a couple passes to Kyle Pitts and such, I think the Lions can actually it'll be a little bit closer, but I think Goff and company gets it done. I'm going to say a Lions 10-point victory. I'll say 27-17.
Lions, you better win
Look at you two picking the Lions when I won't. I love you both immensely.
Well, make it 3 of us because I'll have to go with the Lions too. Just for the simple fact
wow, I'm the lone wolf against my own team. That's messed up.
Bark.
Go Bark.
That's why I always tell people that Dom hates the Lions more than any person hates the Lions.
He really is very critical.
Man, I've been watching this team since I was 9 years old. I'm 43. You would hate them too.
Anytime I've said something negative about the Lions, you always agree with what I said instead of trying to
you're probably right. Because the evidence is overwhelming. I'm not a homer.
So let's bring it on
Definitely
home. And let's get it up and finish up with the pick right here. I think the Detroit Lions are going to beat the Atlanta Falcons. I think that Detroit has got to show people we need to get back on track. You have a team that has a lot of hype. As we stated earlier, some people consider them possible contender. I may not, but I consider them to be a playoff team. You got to win this game. You got to actually also show Atlanta, y'all not going to come in here thinking y'all actually deserve to win this game because y'all got a nice 2-0 record and we lost to a team that we probably should have beat in Seattle. Y'all need to kind of beat them I feel like they need to beat them by 14 points. And I think they're going to win, but I got them winning 28-10. So, we got 3 against 1. You saw Dom did the lone wolf.
Remember last year when we gave up 290 rushing yards to Deontay Foreman and Chuba Hubbard?
Can you guys hear me? 1, 2, 3.
A little bit better. A little bit better. Then we got Sam Darnold.
You guys here?
Yeah, you froze, man.
So it looks like I'm having technical difficulties.
We can still hear you good.
Yeah, I'll just go on to the next game real quick. There we go.
The love train.
Saints versus Packers.
Well, until JJ gets back online. Yep, Saints at Packers. Packers are 2-point favorites at home. Can the Saints defense derail that love train? JT, what you got, man?
I think the Packers are going to win this game. I think the Green Bay Packers have excellent personnel on the defensive side of the ball. So at the end of the day, as long as Jordan Love is decent and plays mistake-free football, then I think the Packers are actually going to be in the playoffs. They have the talent to do it. So
Aaron Jones still hurt.
As far as the Saints, he is. But this is why you have a guy like A.J. Dillon. And this is a guy that's humongous. So, give him the ball, and he's gonna be hard to tackle a guy like that, especially in the fourth quarter when guys are tired. And Green Bay also has an excellent offensive line. So I think with them playing at home at the Lambeau Field, it's gonna create a big advantage for them. And as far as the Saints, I have to say, going into the season, they're a heavy favorite for the NFC South. It's a long season, I get it, but I have to say, couple games that I've seen from the Saints, I don't really see anything that makes me say, wow, this team is legit. I don't see it. I'm not too impressed with Derek Carr, not too impressed with the Saints. I think the Packers win this one.
All right. Look at you. You got the Packers going over against the Saints. Denzel Snipes. Jesus. Okay. Hashtag don't hurt me. Denzel Snipes. You got Jordan Love continuing this train. or do you got Derek Carr notching that victory?
You know, the Packers been playing like they got a chip on their shoulder because they've heard enough talk of, oh, they're about to be sorry for the next 10 years because ain't no more Brett Favre, because ain't no more Aaron Rodgers or nothing. And Jordan Love has been coming out and been balling as of late. Compared to the starts that we've seen him, he only had, what, 1 or 2 starts prior to the season anyway?
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, his very first start, he was force-fed Kansas City on the road. I don't put that against him, but that's just me, okay?
Tough environment.
The New Orleans Saints, man, that Chris Olave dude is awesome coming out of Ohio State. I told Cliff Betts that he would be a weapon, but I got the Packers in this one. Yeah, I got the Packers in this. That defense definitely has been stepping up. Jair Alexander still proven to be a top 5 corner in the league. I'm going to take the Packers. They move on to 2-1. I think Jordan Love can hang 30 on them. I'm going to say 30-20, Pat.
Wow.
30 points.
Oh my!
That's my bold take.
There you go, Jay, with the bold take. As always, do apologize. You guys, it wouldn't be me if I didn't have no bad connection at some point in time. And I got a brand new phone, which is crazy about that. Detroit Dom, Jordan Love, Derek Carr. Pick one.
I'm picking Derek Carr because he's got, I don't know, probably close to 100 more NFL starts than Jordan Love for one. For two, the standard spread amongst evenly matched teams is -3 for the home team. What are the Packers favored by? Only 2. And that's how many points they lose by. 2. 22-20. Derek Carr leading his umpteenth fourth quarter comeback because he's the best dude in the league that can do it, other than one John Matthew Stafford. And that Saints defense is formidable. Packers have not seen a defense like the Saints so far this year. And this is, I won't say the wheels fall off for Jordan Love, but Jordan Love at this point will look more like a quarterback starting his third game as QB1 rather than the dude we saw the last 2 weeks. He's not as bad as we think, but it's been some percentage of fool's gold. Saints 22-20. FTP.
Absolutely think this game is going to be a close game. Absolutely think this game is going to be coming down to the very end.
Awkwardly weirdo.
Absolutely think this game is going to come down to Jordan Love trying to see if he can actually, beat a really good defense to win on a game-winning drive, because both teams have great defenses. And both quarterbacks, one being an inexperienced one who's not going to really know, and then the other who at sometimes has shown that he has struggled with certain defenses. We get to see them today, and I'm going to go with the veteran because I think the Saints, I like their wide receivers a little bit better to make some of those tough catches against the Jair Alexanders, the Rasul Douglases, over what the Green Bay Packers have at the moment. But you know what? Anything is possible, being, Green Bay's at home. But I got Derek Carr and them getting this. And I will say this. I think Olave is a great target. I think it's going to be a good game for him with receptions. That would be my one prop on the sports bet side to get it going. All right. We just finished in the City of Cheese. Now, which city do we go to? Oh, we go all the way up to the Minnesota Skull.
Tie.
I love this.
Oh, my goodness.
Tie.
Justin Herbert and Kirk Cousins duel.
Hold on. And it's an even line. It's a literal pick'em game.
Tie.
That
What's the NFL record for points? They break it in a tie. 60-60 tie.
It's going to be an arena football score.
It looks to be that way. So you have Justin Herbert, Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers on Charger. They lost. They're down. Then you have the Minnesota Vikings. Teams that on paper are very talented. They appear. Their offenses are stout. Their offenses are deep at the wide receiver position. And their quarterbacks put up good numbers. Their quarterbacks play decent and do well. But for some reason, there's always an issue. Exactly. You talk about the playoff games. There's just always an issue with these guys. One is younger, so he may have a little bit more of a pass now. But the other one, it's just they're sitting there thinking like, This is Kirk Cousins. We just got to deal with it. But I ask you, Denzel Snipes, who do you have? Is it Kirk Cousins, Captain Kirk, or Justin Simmons? I mean, Herbert, I don't know. What does he got? It's like my worst time hosting ever. Oh, my gosh.
Somebody put up like a wild stat the other night that the Chargers had put up like so many points in 2 games, and they're the only team to be to put up that many and then be 0-2. It's crazy. Man, it's like the thing that's getting in their way is their head coach. I'm not too much of a fan of Buddy. It's almost like if the Chargers win, it's in spite of the coach. And I know all about that because Houston used to win. Deshaun Watson used to win in spite of Bill O'Brien. But, yeah, I've got this as a high-scoring affair. I'm going to take Chargers 35-32. I said before the season that the Vikes would fall off a cliff. So far, they're 0-2. They're on pace for that. They lost Dalvin Cook. They got issues going on right now. It seems like they can't catch a break. But I've got the Chargers finally breaking through for their first win of the season.
Let me find out the Chargers getting their first win against the Kirk Cousins 0-3.
And you're such a fan of Kirk Cousins.
Kirk.
I know, right? He's so awesome. I'm not going to sit there and say this was not foretold, but it kind of was foretold. But anyway, Dom, Cousins, Chargers on Charger. If you're talking about 2 teams that can have epic collapses, there you are.
Actually, due to recent developments, the Vikings have acquired Cam Akers for a swap of draft picks, and I think that's the difference. The Chargers, last week or week 1 blew 5 leads. This week they say hold my beer and blow 6 and lose 42-38. Vikings finally get off the schneid. Chargers continue to Charger.
My only question is, why is Chargers charging a thing? But how come nobody ever says Vikings gonna Viking? Because if you want to be for real, these 2 franchises are two of the most bottling, choking,
deplorable
in the league. Like, don't matter what happens, you can depend on them to screw something up.
Doing just enough to lose.
So which one is gonna not do that thing that's gonna screw up?
The Vikings are the Chargers' NFC counterpart, and vice versa.
As my man Skip Bayless used to say, Kirk Cousins, is he gonna be Kirk or Kurt? Because you can't depend on this guy, Kirk Cousins, to be in the big moment and making the plays. And Justin Herbert, I think he's slightly overrated, but slightly. I'm not gonna say he's like
where's the playoff wins.
I just think he gets too much credit, and he hasn't really. He hasn't really proven that he's that type of guy.
He's Phillip Rivers. He's Matt Stafford.
Mahomes has obviously had huge moments in the playoffs. Josh Allen has had moments in the playoffs. Burrow has had moments in the playoffs. Hurts has had moments in the playoffs. So, to me, that's why I can't really give him too much credit. But
don't give him any credit until he wins a playoff game.
I trust Herbert in a situation over Kirk Cousins. So I think Kirk Cousins is just going to make a mistake, and it's going to cause the Vikings to lose the game, and the Chargers win.
He's going to be third Cousins twice removed.
Kurt. Not Kirk, but Kurt. Kurt. K-U-R-T.
Cousins this week. We've seen Kirk Cousins for 2 weeks already. 7 turnovers.
Yeah, so far he's no chains.
Oh, there you go. No chain. Who'd have thought? But at the end of the day, he keeps low numbers. So, who we on now? Oh, is it me? Oh, okay. Well,
wait, my bad. It's your pick. Your pick.
Who you picking?
Oh, who am I picking? I'll keep it quick. I got the Minnesota Vikings because I think it's going to come down to who's the best.
Because it's at home and at 1:00.
Who's
That's the way Kirk Cousins can win.
That or possibly, LA's coming to East Coast time. West Coast teams come to East Coast, it becomes a little bit of a hard thing for them. Sluggish start, but I think when you come down to it, who has the best athlete, and I think you got Justin Jefferson on your squad. Like at the end of the day, I think that's going to be the difference maker for them against a very good secondary for the Los Angeles Chargers. So we are transitioning. We are keeping moving.
Mama say Vikings fans so ornery because Justin Jefferson got all those receiving yards and no wins.
Oh my gosh!
But he has more than any Bears receiver in their history.
That is a seriously bad thing for the freaking Chicago Bears.
Sad.
Kirk Cousins would be the Bears' best quarterback ever.
And Jefferson has played like 4 years.
Literally. So we have the Carolina Panthers versus the Geno Smith-led Seattle Seahawks on the West Coast. Both teams suffered tough losses, but they were teams. They weren't exactly.
Well, the Seahawks
won last week.
Well, the Seahawks won.
You know what? On that note, because I'm sitting there just so having such a fun night, I'm going to sit there and rephrase that. The Seahawks won. The Panthers did not. But the question, I'll leave it right there at the bottom, is can Bryce Young cash in on his first win?
Awkward silence. I guess I'll go.
Yeah.
No, I think the Panthers have looked pretty bad the first couple weeks of the season, and I think Seattle is feeling good about themselves coming off that win. Even though Detroit kind of gave them the game, or they did everything they could to give it to them, I still think Seattle is feeling good about themselves, and I think they're at home. And this is one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL. So this is a lot for a rookie quarterback to go up there and win a game, man. I know Seattle's not like they were when they had Richard Sherman and all those great players on defense, but I still think they're a formidable team, and I think Seattle's going to win.
Okay. You think Seattle's going to go ahead and make themselves 2-1? All right. With that said, Dom, who do you got? Do you think the rookie can do it?
Absolutely not. Not in Seattle. Kenneth Walker gets right off the get right. 130 plus yards rushing, at least one touchdown. I don't know. I mean, there are certain people that think the Panthers can contend for that trash division, and maybe they can because it only takes, 8 wins and a tiebreaker to win that division. It won't be the Panthers. Saints not looking too good either. That whole division is a toss-up, but yeah, there's absolutely no way a rookie quarterback goes into Seattle and walks out of there with a victory. Seahawks, and not even that close, 27-10.
Wow. What do you have, Jay?
The future has officially happened because, for so long when this matchup happened, it was always Cam Newton versus Russell Wilson. Now here it is. It's Bryce Young versus Geno Smith. With that being said, not just yet for Bryce Young. Not just yet. Seahawks are too good. K9's going to run all over the place. Tyler Lockett's going to get his in. Geno Smith will get back. Well, he got back on track with the Lions win. But for the comeback campaign from last season, he's going to keep the train rolling. Yep. I've got the Seahawks. Man, they just might blow them out. I don't know if the Panthers will score a touchdown because it's been difficult for Bryce Young. I know it's only been 2 games. It's been difficult for him to get the ball in the end zone. If he does, it's like real late, But yeah. I don't even think they get 6 on them. I'll be cool. I'll say Seahawks 28-6. And that might be 2 field goals.
You know what's interesting? Wow. So you know what? That's interesting. Feel like it's a big, heavy favorite for Seattle. Everybody's on Seattle's board, I believe, correct?
Carolina.
You already know it, Dom. And at the end of the day, I don't think because
you just want to go. Go ahead, do it now.
No, this is let JJ host the show real quick. I got you. No, at the end of the day, you're thinking about, yes, you have a team that looks better, but Seattle's defense is not that great. Would it help a rookie quarterback to go against a defense that's not that great? And on the flip side, which I have not surprised was not being factored, Carolina's defense is not a slouch. And if you have the ability to get to the quarterback, like Carolina does know how to do, you can give yourself a chance. And I think when you have people like J.C. Horn, Jeremy Chin, Derek Brown, you have a team that's starting to be able to, enforce, a little bit of their will defensively on teams because they were in their games.
Yep.
It wasn't as if they were not in their games. They were in there. I can't definitively say that Geno Smith is going to just be able to figure this all out because he let the Matthew Stafford and the Rams get off on him a little bit. No, they didn't play yet. I'm
By
tripping.
the way, J.C. Horn is hurt again because the sun came up.
Oh, he's actually hurt? I didn't see anything on the injury report for him. Well, in that case, I still believe in this team. I still think that this team has a chance to get this first win because I'm not so sure Seattle's is that vaunted place for rookie quarterbacks as it's proclaimed. So I'm going with Carolina Panthers versus the Seattle Seahawks. I will say this. I think that on props-wise, you got to go. I think I'll go with Hayden Hurst's receptions. It's been a good thing at 3.0. And I would sit there and say, I would go with Geno Smith's completions because I think it's going to be one of those type of games where you're not going to be able to run the football.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to kind of get that intermediate routes, those short passing, to get this team to be able to win. You're not going to get any deep shots on them like that.
All right, we got to pick up the speed a little bit. Jay has to be at confidential. So, next game.
Cowboys Cardinals. Oh my gosh!
Raise your hand if we can blow through this. Raise your hand if you think the Cardinals are winning.
The Cowboys
not
are
at all. No, Cowboys are winning on this one. I think
there's no explanation needed.
The Cowboys at Arizona State. I'm going to do another, probably not so bold take and say shutout. Cowboys 35-0.
And
if the Cowboys lose this game, I'm officially laughing at them for the rest of the year.
It's amazing
for the rest of my life.
But it's amazing how much people are on board with the Dallas Cowboys. So yeah, next game. What we got going on over here? Bears.
Another one
again.
Seriously,
do we even need to discuss it? Way to save the toilet bowl.
I get this going. I got y'all. Okay, we already know the Chiefs are going to beat the Bears. God dang, can people throw some projections out there? Okay, y'all. Next game, please. Steelers at Raiders.
Oh, now we get to the toilet bowl.
No, you actually, Dom. Thank you. Now we get to the next game. We got the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, which historically would have been a great game. Historically, it would have been a very fantastic, hard-hitting game. Yep, it's some in the.
Did you say 1870?
Yes, he did.
I hate Dom, bro. The Oregon Trail 1870. I'm sorry, JJ. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Franco Harris.
Y'all see, this is why we don't have guests, okay? Some people don't know how to wait their freaking turn, okay? This is why we don't have these guests over here. People over here acting just don't know how to be quiet and wait till people get through. If y'all want to know, a couple minutes of this thing that we supposed to be rushing through was kind of interrupted because some people can't be quiet. But that's our brother Dom, who we love dearly. That's why we have to sit there and put him. Where's the mute button? Next time, let me produce this thing so I can put him on mute. Shout out Megan Price, Sip Up Off Style.
I muted myself.
We have to do that. But anyway, on old fashioned would have been a very good game. But you have two guys that are pretty much in the same position. It's just in different routes. Jimmy G's a game manager for the rest of his career, where you got Kenny Pickett, who's trying to prove to people that he's a guy that they believe is worth as being all this hype that's coming into this team, which some people have actually put them in the chance to win a division because of his particular ascension. Ooh. But it hasn't actually been pretty easy.
The Steelers to win the division besides Jose Cubas?
I don't even know.
The reason we were referencing this. Again, I'm referencing this as well because I did be on a show prior to the season where there were a couple of people that did think Pittsburgh was going to win the division. But it doesn't necessarily say that everybody thinks that way, but some people do. Can I put you on mute, boy? Because you better let me get through this. Thank you. I see that. Now, go back, Tom. What you got? Who you got for us?
So you literally just muted him to be on mute for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's like it's like you gotta teach your brother. You gotta teach
I
your brother a
muted
lesson.
myself again.
You gotta teach your brother a lesson. Go ahead. Y'all pick Dom. Who you think? You think it's going to be the Raiders? You think it's going to be the Steelers? Or your toilet
Oh my
bowl?
God! It's a race to 10. I'm not picking a winner. Whoever gets to 10 first. I'll go Steelers because I think they have the better kicker.
You can tell Dom does not want to pick on this game. James, who do you got?
I'm going with Pittsburgh.
I feel sorry for
Pittsburgh got
Jody. He have to
momentum.
watch it.
They got momentum. I just don't see somebody on the Raiders other than Devontae Adams, who I think is really gonna, do something. Him and Jacobs. That's pretty much it, bro. So I just don't know what's gonna happen in this game. Kenny Pickett versus Jimmy G. I don't know, man. I'm going with the Steelers. Coin flip.
This really is a coin flip game. Maybe this one should have been the one that was the actual pick 'em of even. But it does have the Las Vegas Raiders up by 2.5. Denzel Snipes, who you got?
I'll make this quick. Josh Jacobs' stat line last week against the Bills? 9 carries, -2 yards. And now you're going to put him up against that Steelers defense.
He did nothing.
Cam Hayward is out.
I'm going to roll with Steelers. I got, let's see. I think he's going to be Kenny Pickett and not Kenny Biscuit. I think that Big Play Pickens may have another big play in him. And I've got the Steelers. I've got about a 10-point game. I'll say Steelers 20-10.
Interesting enough that you sat here and got the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you did, and you mentioned how that Josh Jacobs struggled, and he's not going to do well against the Pittsburgh Steelers because when Nick Chubb went down, Nick Chubb was having a great game. Nick Chubb was having a dominant game on the run game, and then against San Francisco, we know what happened with Christian McCaffrey. So I'm not exactly sure I can go there and say that Josh Jacobs is going to have a replicated performance he did against the Buffalo Bills. That was a statement game, in my opinion, for Buffalo because of how they lost to a team that lost their quarterback. And typically when you lose a quarterback like that, and when the Jets did, you kind of lose the game. They didn't. But you have them coming against Pittsburgh, who snuck by Cleveland, who also suffered a big loss to their team, which more than likely would have helped them result in a win had he been able to play. I actually got the Raiders to win this game because I think that team is actually going to they're going to get it together. I don't really know what Josh McDaniels likes to do sometimes, but I think he does believe in a run game. And I think Josh Jacobs is going to have a good game. I think Josh Jacobs is going to go for 100-plus yards and get 2 touchdowns and be the driving force for the Raiders to be able to beat the Steelers. And I'm not saying that just because they're in my division. It's just exactly how I feel. Next. Anyway, so we're going to wrap it up at this point. We got one more game left, I believe.
Actually, it's 2. Doubleheader. Here's part 1.
Monday night doubleheader.
Again?
That's right. That was debuted that there was the new Monday night doubleheaders. I'm so sorry, Jay. You know
2
what?
and 3. That's weird.
James Tatum. Take it away, my brother.
This is going to be a tough game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a good football team. Baker Mayfield is off to an incredible start to the season. He's played much better than anybody's expectations, so he deserves the credit. Their defense has been very, very good, too. You have to give them credit. They have not allowed a lot of points. They have good players. They have good linebackers. You have Barrett. You have what's the other guy's name? Devin White. You have good players on this side of the ball. And when you look at the Eagles, has the Eagles look like the team from last year? They haven't. The Eagles are 2-0, but they haven't played well. Jalen Hurts has not played well. The team has not played as we expected them to play so far. And I think that some of the issues with the play calling brings up a lot of concerns. You're talking about Brian Johnson, who's a first-year coordinator. Shane Steichen goes to the Colts. He's their head coach now. But Brian Johnson has been here. He knows Jalen Hurts. He knows the plays that Jalen Hurts is comfortable with, that we like to run and we had success with last year. but it seems like he's trying to be more conservative. And I think that's causing a lot of issues. So if you're playing conservative against a team that's playing confident like Tampa Bay is, then it's going to cause a problem for you because you're going on the road in prime time in their house. You can't play scared and expect to win every week. And the first 2 weeks, the Eagles have been much too conservative. They need to take shots down the field. They need to get A.J. Brown involved. They need to get Devontae Smith involved. They need to get Dallas Goedert involved and push the ball and put this defense on their heels. If they are able to do that, then the Eagles are going to have a lot of success, and I think they're going to win this game. But what I'm saying is we have been holding back. We cannot keep doing this and holding back because if we do, we're going to lose.
Oh, he done walked away. All right. Interesting takes because, the Eagles are 2-0, but they hadn't exactly looked like the Eagles. Dom, do you concur?
Yes, but the Eagles not looking like the
fellas.
Eagles and the Buccaneers looking like whoever they've looked like for 2 weeks but aren't. There's absolutely no way the Buccaneers win this game. Absolutely no way.
Who knows? Actually, the battle of the OU quarterbacks, and Baker Mayfield has won some games against teams that they probably feel like they couldn't have. We don't know. So we heard James, the Philadelphia Philly Jim. He going with his team. Dom, as always, has a nice little exaggerated how this team is going to get demolished, and there was they're going to do that. That's typical Dom right there. Then we have Mr. J. Nelson. Denzel Snipes.
This is going to be a tough game. He won't be Maker Bayfield. He'll continue to be Baker Mayfield. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one. They're another shock 2-0 team. Look at that. The Eagles, DeAndre Swift, this is me, but he's going to be key. If they can run the ball down the Buccaneers' throat, they're going to have very great success this game. I still have the Eagles winning. I have it a little bit close though. I'm gonna say Eagles by a field goal. I think the Buccaneers are gonna play them really tough. I say the Eagles by a field goal. There still may be questions as far as the Eagles are now 3-0, but they still haven't looked like the Eagles. So what's going on? But they could still sit comfortably with a win for week 3. I'm gonna say Eagles 27-24.
All right, so we have to come down to me, and I'm going with the Eagles too, but I have a little twist. I think the Eagles are going to rather handle them because I think they want to get themselves to get back on track. And I think when I look at the teams that the Buccaneers have beaten, this is by far the best defense, the best defensive line, the best offensive line, the best skill position players that they have faced this season. Minnesota has good skill position players. They have the best receiver of the bunch, but you have Dallas Goedert, you have Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, you have DeAndre Swift, you have that offensive line, but their defenses that have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had to play were the Bears and the Vikings, and you're looking at the Eagles now. I think the Eagles are going to get back on track and force their will. I think they've seen from DeAndre Swift stuff that they wanted to believe in. That's what a big focal point of Philadelphia's defense, even word jumble. A big focal point of Philadelphia's offense is the run game. And they didn't know DeAndre had it in them, but now they do. And I think it's going to be like, we're going to get that to go, get Jalen, comfortable into the game, and then we'll start making those darts that James is asking his team to do. So I got Philadelphia winning this game 35-7. So now, yes, I have a big victory. We can conclude. And I will tell everybody, I want to first thank you guys all for putting up with me on my most worst night ever doing this hosting. But you know what? If you know me, you know this is normal for me. So we're going to wrap it up, and we're going to start with Jay Nelson. Be the man to finish us off with hosting, giving it segue in this game for us.
Well, let's see. Rams at Bengals, and this is going to be, the the much anticipated Super Bowl rematch from 2 years ago, but Burrow's status is uncertain. And even, but and I don't know, it may be that his calf had been bothering him the whole time. That's the reason why he's been missing, per se, right? No Burrow, no chance. The Rams will win this game. Even with Burrow, I think it's last year the Bengals started off slow, then they picked it up, won the division, still made the playoffs. So if we're going by last year, this is still like the slow time period. But in either case, I mean, Stafford's healthy. The Rams have kind of sort of started looking like the Rams again. I'm going to pick the Rams in this one. I'll say Rams by a touchdown. We'll say 24-17.
Shout out hashtag Puka Nakua. Who we got, James
Yes,
Tatum?
I'm going with the Rams as well. Joe Burrow, he retweaked his leg injury. He's going to be out for an extended period of time. This is not good news if you're the Cincinnati Bengals. And it begs the question, did they rush back Joe sooner than they should have? It looks like it. So I think that the Rams are just going to win this game. And the Rams have played well, to be fair. Even against the 49ers, they played well. So I think the Rams are just going to win this one.
All right, you got the Rams beating the Bengals. And yeah, as we know, Joe Burrow, freshly off a new contract, shows the worth that he is to this team. And so it's going to be tough to see if he can't go and how they're going to look and how their season is going to look without him going to be in the lineup. Dom, do you got Puka Nakua, Matthew Stafford? I just like saying his name, Puka Nakua. I'm going to be honest with you.
I didn't know if it was
cool.
Puka
I kind of like
Puka,
it too.
because to me,
I do too.
P-U-K-E is puke, so P-U-K-A should be Puka. And I'm like, who's this dude with 15 catches? You got Puka and Tutu.
No cup, no problem.
Exactly.
No cup, no problem.
I'll call him Pookie.
Pookie!
Pookie and Ray Ray.
I've got the Rams. Bengals, panic mode.
You know, it's interesting that you said that because it almost does feel like that with the Cincinnati Bengals because of how they lost. You know, they lost to a Cleveland team that obliterated them, owned them, made Joe Burrow look like he was a first-time rookie and going against the NFL team for the first time, which is not often to do that. And then now they go against the Ravens team that came to their house and beat them in their home, which they have actually been pretty good at home. And now they take on the Rams, who went toe-to-toe with the 49ers, which I don't know if many people expected to happen, given what we were seeing from these teams coming into that point. And now they're facing off with each other. Joe Burrow's status is up in the air. So much is going on right here. And I do think this feels like much of when you go back to when Brett Favre and the Dallas Cowboys faced like 0-4 with each other, and they called it like the Panic Bowl. This is the Panic Bowl for the Bengals, and I think, you know, that some of their fans will say, yeah, we had slow starts before and this, that, and the third, but anytime you have leg injuries for a quarterback, that lingers the whole season. And that's not going to be something that's going to be easy to get through. So we're going to see, but I got the Rams winning this one. I got the Rams to win this by 1 point because I don't like anything that looks easy to win by a field goal because typically when that happens, it usually doesn't. So I think the Rams are going to win this game. The Bengals cover the spread. I will say, if you're looking for receptions, Underdog hasn't came quite to realize that Puka Nakua should be averaging 6.5. So if you see Puka Nakua's receptions, anything that is under 5, which it has been, take it. Take it. Take it. Take it. Take it. Just take it. He's going to get the targets because if one thing we know about Matthew Stafford, if there is one thing we know about Matthew Stafford, he will force feed a guy till the day he can't catch no more. He will throw it to him till the day he can't catch. He's a good bid. Rams finish this. So with that being said, gentlemen, it's been a rather fun ride tonight. It has been really fun. But I want to say James Tatum, Dom DeRubeis, Denzel Snipes, because Dom's on the phone with me, but Bump Dom, Jay Nelson. Thank you guys for coming on to our show.
Yes,
James
sir.
and I love you guys so much. Thank you guys. We are really a brotherhood. We talk about each other all the time. I got my family watching the podcast. I talk about you guys at work. And it's just, y'all are great. And I mean the bottom of my heart all day.
That was sweet.
Oh, we had to go.
Oh,
But
Yes,
everybody,
confidential.
all of our fans, Tyler, Bacon Grizz, everyone that follows us from the Gauntlet here, thank you so much for coming on to see us tonight. As you can see, you get laughs, you get fun, you get so many different mess ups from me, so many different interjections.
You gotta look at the schedule, bud. You better look at the schedule for next week.
we'll be
And here
back
comes-
next week, and we promise you, Sideline, it will be under an hour.
We are not on Sideline,
Well,
but
we
we
were
do
not
love
on
them.
Sideline for this one, thank
We
God.
Oh,
do
well, then
love
fuck
them.
Sideline.
Dom, the people from Sideline watch this.
No,
Well,
they
I mean, at least we didn't say anything crazy on here.
No, I'm just sitting there looking at Dom.
we didn't. That might have been the first cuss word all night. Sorry, Sideline, even though you're not watching.
You good.
They don't give a
good.
shit.
But we love you guys. Thank you guys. Come back again next Wednesday.
We got to
Same
come
time.
up
We
with
will
a clever
see-
nickname for this show.
Excuse me. We will see you on Friday. Intent.
And hold on. Shit, this is crazy because now that I realize this, today is the 20th. Okay, you know what? We will
We're
see
on a
y'all on
48
Friday. We will see y'all on Friday.
We're on a
Coming up.
48-hour and 4-minute break.
But the next time we see you guys on Wednesday will be my birthday, and I'm very excited to spend it with you guys. Thank you guys, as always, for coming on. And I love you guys, and we'll see y'all on Friday on the greatest show on the podcast networks, The Gauntlet.
See you guys.
Late.